The Tangled Hearts. In Accra, Season 2. Episode 1, The Aftermath of the Wedding. Esther and Kwame's wedding was a beautiful celebration, filled with laughter, music, and the warmth of family and friends. As the couple danced under the starlit sky, Esther couldn't help but feel a sense of contentment. Kwame was everything she had ever wanted, kind, loyal, and deeply in love with her. Yet as the night wore on, her mind wandered to Emmanuel. She caught a glimpse of him in the crowd, his piercing eyes locked onto hers before he disappeared into the night. Life with Kwame was peaceful and fulfilling. Esther threw herself into her marriage, determined to leave her past behind. Kwame was patient and understanding, always making her feel cherished. They built a life together, filled with love and mutual respect. But deep down, Esther couldn't shake the lingering thoughts of Emmanuel. She tried to push them away, but they resurfaced in quiet moments, like a shadow she couldn't escape. One sunny afternoon, Esther and Kwame decided to visit a new restaurant in town. As they enjoyed their meal, Esther's heart skipped a beat. There, sitting at a corner table, was Emmanuel. He looked as handsome as ever, his eyes locking onto hers with that familiar intensity. Esther quickly looked away, but Emmanuel approached their table. Emmanuel, smiling, "Esther, it's been a while. You look stunning, as always." Esther nervously responds, "Emmanuel, this is my husband, Kwame." Kwame, extending his hand. "Nice to meet you, Emmanuel. Esther has mentioned you before." Emmanuel shook Kwame's hand, but his eyes never left Esther's. They exchanged pleasantries, and before leaving, Emmanuel slipped Esther his number, whispering, "Call me if you ever need anything." Watch out for Episode 2, The Temptation, The Tangled Hearts in Accra. Season 2, Episode 2, The Temptation. That night, Esther couldn't sleep. Emmanuel's presence had stirred up emotions she thought she had buried. She found herself staring at his number, torn between her loyalty to Kwame and the pull she still felt toward Emmanuel. Days turned into weeks, and the temptation grew stronger. One evening, while Kwame was away on a business trip, Esther finally gave in. She called Emmanuel. Emmanuel, softly, "I knew you'd call." They met at a secluded spot, and the chemistry between them was undeniable. One thing led to another, and Esther found herself in Emmanuel's arms once again. The guilt was overwhelming, but so was the thrill of being with him. The guilt ate at Esther until she could no longer bear it. She decided to come clean to Kwame. With tears in her eyes, she confessed everything. Esther, crying, "Kwame, I made a terrible mistake. I'm so sorry." Kwame was heartbroken, but chose to forgive her. He loved Esther deeply and believed in second chances. However, he made it clear that this was her last chance. Kwame, firmly, "Esther, I love you, but if this ever happens again, I won't be able to stay." Unbeknownst to Esther, Emmanuel had no intention of letting her go. He began showing up at her workplace, sending her messages, and even visiting her home when Kwame wasn't around. Esther tried to push him away, but Emmanuel was relentless. Emmanuel, coldly, "You can't just walk away from me, Esther. We have something special." Esther realized too late that Emmanuel's intentions were far from pure. He wasn't interested in a relationship. He wanted control. She felt trapped, unsure of how to escape the web she had woven. Watch out for Episode 3, The Breaking Point, The Tangled Hearts in Accra. Season 2, Episode 3, The Breaking Point. One evening, Emmanuel confronted Esther at her home. Kwame was away, and Esther was alone. Emmanuel's demeanor was dark and threatening. Emmanuel, angrily, "You think you can just ignore me after everything we've been through?" Esther stood her ground, but fear gripped her heart. Just as the situation escalated, Kwame unexpectedly returned home. He walked in to find Emmanuel shouting at Esther. Without hesitation, Kwame stepped in, protecting his wife. Kwame, firmly, "You need to leave. Now." Emmanuel hesitated but eventually left, casting one last menacing glance at Esther. After the confrontation, Esther and Kwame had a long, heartfelt conversation. Esther realized the depth of Kwame's love and the mistakes she had made. She vowed to cut all ties with Emmanuel and focus on rebuilding her marriage. Esther, tearfully, "Kwame, I don't deserve you. but I promise to do better. I love you, and I want to make this work." Kwame held her close, his love unwavering. Together, they decided to start fresh, leaving the past behind. Watch out for Episode 3, Emmanuel's Downfall. The Tangled Hearts in Accra, Season 2, Episode 3, Emmanuel's Downfall. Emmanuel, unable to accept rejection, spiraled out of control. His obsession with Esther consumed him, leading to reckless behavior. Eventually, his actions caught up with him, and he faced consequences that forced him to leave town. Esther and Kwame were finally free from his shadow. Months passed, and Esther and Kwame's bond grew stronger. They welcomed a baby girl into their lives, a symbol of their love and resilience. Esther found peace in her new role as a mother and wife, and Kwame continued to be her rock. One evening, as they sat together watching the sunset, Esther turned to Kwame. "Esther," softly, "thank you for never giving up on me." Kwame, smiling, "I'll always be here for you, Esther. We're in this together." Esther's journey was a testament to the complexities of love, loyalty, and forgiveness. While her heart had once been tangled in a web of emotions, she had found her way back to the love that truly mattered. As she held her daughter in her arms, Esther knew that her future was bright, and she was ready to embrace it with Kwame by her side. Stay tuned for the next chapter in Esther and Kwame's story, where new challenges and surprises await. Will their love continue to withstand the test of time, or will old wounds resurface? Find out in The Tangled Hearts in Accra, Season 3.